Next competitor is from St. Petersburg, Florida. Please give a warm welcome to number 63, Layne Norton.
Let's move some! If you want to win, you want to beat these guys, you got to look at the person next to you and say, am I working harder than that guy? Because if you're not, I can guarantee you, you're not going to win.
Oh, one more.
You can't half diet. You can't even half diet in the off season because these guys that are coming in are hungry, and if you do it anything halfway, they're gonna beat you.
Roll yourself! Ah!
All right, in second place tonight, your runner-up men's heavy open is Peter Walter. And in first place in the heavy
That show really, that was a year later, that show really woke me up as to what I needed to work on and what I needed to do in terms of stepping up and taking it to the next level. And to think that I ended up coming out on top out of all those guys, it felt real good because I feel like I should work hard enough and be good enough that I don't give the judges a reason to place me down, that I don't make it close. And so that's my goal now, is to keep working hard so when I stand up there next time, it's not, I wonder if, we should please, it should be, no, this guy's got it, we can put him to the side and start worrying about who's got second place.
My name is Nick Katricius. I'm a WNBF and NGA professional natural bodybuilder. I've been competing for about 10 years now. I'm a lifetime drug-free bodybuilder. So far in my competitive career, I've won several contests. I don't believe in shortcuts. Taking anabolic steroids and growth hormone or whatever, to me that's a shortcut. Being natural, you don't have any of the aids that some of the other competitors might have. All of your time that's not spent with your job is spent in the gym. I do cardio in the morning, I go back, I lift at night, and sometimes I do another session of cardio again at night before I call it a night and go to bed. I never go into a show thinking, okay, if I can just crack top 5, I'll be happy. If that's the case, don't even bother to show up. You got to go into every show thinking you're going to win. Otherwise, why would you spend that much time, that much energy, and that much money training and dieting and buying all the foods and all the supplements and putting that much time in if you don't want to go in and win every single show that you do?
When it comes to competition, when you step on stage with somebody, if you want to win, you got to hate that person. And if that means that you've got to beat your friend or you've got to beat somebody you really like, you better not be scared to do that, because if you are, you're not going to win. Before I got my pro card, when me and Nick would be in the gym working out, we'd kind of have a little friendly banter going back and forth. Hey Nick, I did this, what do you got today? Or, one of us would be sitting around talking, the other one would say, hey, you going to lift today? And Nick's retort at the end would always be, hey, who's a pro? And you know what? I had nothing to say to that because I wasn't a pro. Now I'm a pro, but he's still got one thing on me. He's won a pro contest. So I'm gonna have to remedy that and make sure he doesn't have anything on me next time.
If you've ever watched Layne lift, his intensity is a little bit more outgoing than mine.
Come on!
He tends to get a little bit louder, a little bit more animated.
Sometimes we'll be in the weight room and I can see Nick checking out some girl's ass or something like that. And maybe it's just because I have a lovely fiance, but you know, if I'm in there at a lift.
You'll see him marching through the gym, getting ready to go do a set, and talking to himself and getting himself pumped up.
Let's roll!
He lifts hard, he just kind of keeps it in. I'm very vocal. People look at me like I'm some psycho sometimes.
I say to each their own, you know, if that's what he has to do to get himself through the day or through his workouts, then that's fine. It's not for me though.
You know, Nick's a great competitor. He won his first pro show he was ever in. One of the lightest guys on stage, and he won it. You know, he comes in real shredded. He was the first person who ever beat me when I was an amateur. It was a show down in Evansville, Indiana, and he just stomped me. And it was actually the wake-up call I needed in order to get real serious about competing, because I saw the type of conditioning he brought, and you know, it was incredible. And after that, I kind of realized, you know, if I'm going to come back on stage, I'm not coming back on stage until I look that conditioned. As Arnold said in Pumping Iron, if the wolf at the bottom of the mountain wants to get to the top, he's got to be hungrier than the one at the top.
I don't know who would win in competition. It depends what those judges are looking for. If they're looking for the bigger, more massive bodybuilder, then he's got me beat hands down. If they're looking for that smaller structure, more symmetrical physique, then hopefully I would take that. But it just depends on what they're looking for that day.
You'll always read about some guy who eats once a day and you know he looks great, or some guy who trains using this ridiculous method that you would think would never work, but he looks good. And so it's tough to say, you know, one method is better than the others. But you know, obviously, I think my method is the best way to do things for me, or I wouldn't be doing it. You know, I experiment with a bunch of different things because I don't have a big ego. You know, if I think something else would make me grow better, I'll do it. You know, I used to train every body part once a week, you know, the typical routines you'd see in Flex magazine or Muscle and Fitness. My chest grew pretty good off, but my legs just wouldn't grow. They wouldn't grow off that. And a friend of mine finally convinced, you know, try doing them twice a week and try doing super high volume. And I thought, you know, oh man, I'm gonna overtrain. And I tried it, and lo and behold, it actually made my legs start growing. I always encourage people to try new things, because if you don't, you know, what's the worst that can happen? You go 6 weeks in a new method, you find out it really doesn't work, and so you wasted 6 weeks. But what if you strike gold? Obviously, what I think I'm doing right now is something that's worked very well for me in the past. And so I think it's the best thing for me, but I encourage everybody to experiment and find out what works well.
I really don't have specific diets that I follow. Ever since I've been competing, I've never really done food logs and never kept track of anything. I always kind of go by feel and just kind of by instinct. If I'm starting to feel sluggish, I'll bump up my carbohydrate intake. If I feel good, I'll stay with what I'm doing. I have done one show where I did monitor my food intake, monitored everything that I did, counted calories, counted everything, and it's just not for me. For some people, it's great. They love the scientific approach to it. For me, typically, when I'm getting ready for a contest, I cut back on my portions, and I only eat until my hunger pains subside, and then 2 hours later, I'll eat another meal.